that's a lyrical miracle verse. I was also debating between that and Scarface's third verse on Mind Playing Tricks on Me. Since that is like,
That's like two opposite ends of the spectrum. You got the super lyrical and you got the super emotional and psychological and impactful.
yeah. Um,
Give me face.
well, sure. You want to go for the face one?
No. I mean, like, give me face between the two verses, but you can have it. You can pick. I'm just saying, like, for
No,
me,
let's go with face. LP with the super chat says at least Suge was up front. Puffs the snake, in my opinion. Um, I think that the third verse on Mind Playing Tricks on Me is one of the greatest verses in hip hop history, and I know a lot of people felt the way about the fact I had it like in the top 10. Do we need to do like maybe a top 50 verses also, or is that just too many verses?
I think we should get to the MCs first because I think what
Yeah,
moves this culture right now is the MC.
yeah,
And quite frankly, this culture isn't as verse heavy. When we're getting verse heavy, we're talking about our era.
yeah.
And we need to be mindful of all the eras, which is where the MC matters.
Actually, you're right, because if we did just all the best verses, the '90s would probably,
Take most of the verses
take most of
and then
them.
they'd be like, here you old niggas go again,
Mm-hmm.
doing this old nigga shit. And it's like, no, that's fine. You know. So I would say let's do the MCs.
Okay, we'll do the MCs, and I think maybe we can highlight some of the MCs' best verses or something like that.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, for me, I'd rather do a 50 MCs list and bring up their most notable verses because I guarantee you, in covering, like, let's say we were pick 50 MCs and write down their most three notable verses,
Mm-hmm.
that would be probably you're gonna get your greatest verses of all time out of those 150 verses. I guarantee.
Oh yeah, you got to.
Yeah, like, yeah, that's where it is. Like, think about it. So AZ would be in my top 50. So if like when I'm thinking about his top verse, I think about Life's a Bitch, obviously. Well, yeah, that's gonna make the top verse.
Mm-hmm.
I think about his second verse on Rather Unique. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's gonna be stuff on there. CL Smooth would make my top 50. Oh, the Reminisce Over You verse. I personally probably think it's the second one. You know what
Really?
I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, but we can find all of the verses actually through the artist, I think.
And through the songs.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd rather do songs in MCs than verses. Yeah.
Okay. Day by day, it's more impossible to cope.
I feel like I'm the one that's doing dope.
Can't keep a steady hand because I'm nervous. Every Sunday morning, I'm in service, praying for forgiveness, trying to find an exit out the business. I know the Lord is looking down on me, but
yet and still, it's still hard for me to
be
feel happy.
Often drift when I drive, having fatal thoughts of suicide. Bang and get it over with. But now I'm worry free, but that's bullshit. I got a little boy to look after. And if I die, then my child will be a bastard. I had a woman down for me. But to me, it seemed like she was down to get me. Often, oh no. She helped me out in this.
Hold on.
Yeah. It's just another bitch.
Now she's back with a mother.
Now I'm realizing that I love her. Now I'm feeling lonely. It's so many emotions in that. And the fact that he says at the end of that, my mom's playing tricks on me, like none of that stuff is even happening.
Right. He's letting you know that
that's schizophrenia.
He's literally letting you know that this is what goes on inside the mind of a paranoid man.
Yeah. And it's like, I think because the song is such a big hit, everybody kind of just looks at it for what it is, right? And it's just another verse.
Face
like,
value.
Yeah, you can't look at that verse for face value. That verse is taking you, like you said, in the mind of schizophrenia. Like, none of that stuff is happening. Yeah. And when the boy disappeared in the actual...
the guy with the hat on him.
Yeah, but the little boy that was in church with him.
Oh, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they were actually articulating all of those things. Leroy Green with the super chat. Talking about Lenny Green. Leroy with the super chat says, lastly, someone should tell D1 the choice doesn't negate the law of opposites. He'll understand what I mean. He was right, just not the best delivery.
Correct.
But yes.
But that's what I've been saying. It's like, I don't disagree with what he's saying. It's just like your approach, it sucks. So.
But yes, man. I think that verse is one of the greatest verses of all
I
time.
think the first and the third verse. That's what I'm saying.
You want to go with the first verse as well? Like,
No, the third verse is fine, but I'm saying like both of those verses is in the conversation for greatest verse. For me, that's what I mean. It's like it's personal. I don't know how the populace feels about it.
right.
But down here, it's Scarface. And
What?
so our introduction into Scarface is those verses.
Well, that verse, man, like you said, you take it, a lot of people take it for face value, but that's mental health right there in a nutshell.
I told you, Mind Playing Tricks on Me is the mental health like anthem for like this culture, and it's funny because it happened early in this culture.
Because I think that verse for me, and I do think that's one of the greatest hip hop songs ever as well, since we're talking about great hip hop songs. In my opinion, it's a top 10. That verse specifically, I think, articulates the title of that song the most. You know what I'm saying? Like, that theme of the song, now obviously the Bushwick Bill is a standout because he's punching on the concrete at the end of the video and things like that. That shows it visually, but that verse, each bar is just a different emotion, polar opposites. Literally, and you don't really think about it like that. Like, his girl was with him, and then it's like, she's out to get me. You know, she's back with her mother. I'm realizing I love her. I'm feeling lonely. Like, that whole verse is like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing, man. And the fact that he was able to really put that down on paper and just articulate it, even with his vocal inflections, I think it's an amazing performance.
So objectively, this is what I'll say. When I tell you that I have Scarface ahead of Jay, a verse like this is why. I'm not going to get nothing like that out of Jay, and that's the shit that I feel. It's not to take anything away from Jay, but when I say I prefer Scarface to Jay, there's your evidence. Because Jay's not going to do that to me, and that touches the souls of black people more to me. It touches on our mental health issues more. Not saying that he's the better rapper. I'm saying I prefer to hear stuff like that more. I relate to that more than I relate to all my mommy's bounce. I just do.
You would pick one of those verses.
No, I mean, we just because we bought up.
But no, but for real though, when Jay does get serious and he's done it on songs with Scarface, it's not the same. Like, I think that even if you compare Jay on This Can't Be Life, as dope as the verses that is, where Face takes it, it's different.
Different dude. And it's about preference. That's why I say objectively I have Jay ahead, but personally I'm gonna take Scarface.
Yeah. K Nikolai with the super chat says, that song's getting me through some times.
See?
Yeah, I mean, that's what hip hop and that's what music is supposed to do, period. But I think before we go though, I don't think that we factor in stuff like that when it comes to lyrical skill or just the skill as an MC as much as we should, because being able to make people feel is a skill. And there are a lot of MCs who are lyrically talented and who have lyrical skill and who could put words together greatly, but they don't have that ability to make people feel. That's a whole intangible that I think really separates the greats from the goods.
True.
And Scarface has that in spades, and that's why, you know, not just the South loves him, but, you know, hip-hop loves him in general. And I think he doesn't toot his own horn enough. He's always giving everybody else props. But this man's one of the greatest, and this verse is a reason for it. Yeah. You know?
I think it's actually where his greatness, like, as an MC actually starts. So.
Mm-hmm. And even his, I like Mr. Scarface is Back. I think it's an amazing album. I think that album is kind of piggybacking off of, you know, these things and these ideals.
Absolutely.
KC1 with the super chat says, Coop, to me, P was very conscious.
Self-conscious.
You think Prodigy's conscious?
Self-reflecting. He has a lot of self-reflecting moments like Scarface.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he expresses it in the way that it's like you can see the mental health part of it. It just comes off like really gritty and gangster sometimes. But when he does say stuff like, I be wearing the same shit for days, not caring, it's like, oh no, that's mental health. That's not being a gangster. Like that's not being healthy.
Kenny Cole with the super chat says, Smile by Scarface is another flame. Yeah, Smile's great. But yeah, Face does things that not everybody can do. Beanie Siegel has that gene. I think that Pac has that gene. And to some degree, I would give that to Cube as well.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right. Anything else that we got to handle? I'm looking forward to this Rick Ross and Meek Mill album.
Yeah.
I'm excited
I
about
want to
it.
hear the Ross and Meek.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get some bangers. I think we're gonna get some records that we can vibe to. That's what I was hoping we didn't get away from. But it looks like that first half is gonna be more Meek sound. That middle half is gonna be more Ross sound.
I don't know what either one of their sounds are at this stage in their career, but I get what you're saying.
Like what we're traditionally used to hearing from Meek and Ross together. Now we know what Ross sounds like on a Meek track. I don't really know what Meek sounds like on a Ross type track.
So sophisticated.
Yeah. Well, after that, I guess we can get the Drake and Ross album, and then it'll be a wrap.
Yeah, I don't know that's happening.
Producer of the year right now, I got Hit Boy in the lead, and I guess we're just gonna see the rest of this.
I think that Benny album is going to determine producer of the year if Hit and Alchemist are on there. So,
you're right.
That's why I was like, I'm waiting. It's like, no.
Okay, we'll wait for that to drop. And hit like and subscribe, everybody. We appreciate everybody jumping into the room. And we will holler at y'all next time. And we're going to keep you updated on the station here, too.
Yay.
A2HH.